Okay, that is Thursday at the season opening Australian Grand Prix in the books here at Albert Park. Some of the fans just still leaving the circuit behind me at the end of the day, where they do get to see track action, actually, not from a Formula One perspective, still media day from our perspective in terms of the work we get to do and speaking to the drivers, but supercars and Porsche cars are on track on a Thursday. They get some racing, actually. There's a couple of races this evening, which is why there's still some people leaving behind me as they head home. Tomorrow is the first time we'll see Formula One cars on track, and I can tell you there's one man that everyone is really, really excited to see this weekend, and it's Lewis Hamilton in a Ferrari. We've seen him in Ferrari Red during the first few months of this year. There's been a lot of promotional work that Ferrari have done. He's tested a previous car, then he's done pre-season testing in Bahrain as well. So we've kind of seen plenty of Hamilton in Ferrari colours by now, but there's still a huge buzz around him, everything he does. Obviously, we've got the world's media here for this one. Testing is a much more sparse event. This is a huge event here in Melbourne. So there's so many more people here wanting to speak to Hamilton, hear from him, just see him. It was absolutely packed in the press conferences. But one of the things that's really notable so far about Hamilton's time at Ferrari is his demeanour. He is so happy. He is so energised. It really is a proper fresh start for him. The way he was talking today about how excited he was, he says he's not been excited for a period in his life more than he is right now. He was likening it to the first time he was at McLaren and his Formula One debut here in Melbourne, but also then the first time with Mercedes as well in 2013. But he said it's on a par with that from a Formula One perspective, but there's just so much more going on as a Ferrari driver that really makes it even more special. And it was kind of amplified by the fact that earlier today he released a little video, a bit of fun on his social media channels, where he kind of superimposed himself, properly edited and produced. It was very impressive, of a scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and he says it's one of his favourite movies, and he wanted to drive the car that was in it and just have a bit of fun. And it did huge numbers. I mean, Oscar Piastri was announced as staying with McLaren longer term yesterday morning, multi-year contract extension there. Now, we're looking at like 50 times the likes and shares and interactions for Hamilton's video today than the Piastri announcement yesterday, which was, of course, big news with a driver in a front-running team staying put. But it just shows how much Lewis transcends the sport. He obviously has a lot more followers on a lot more platforms, but even doing fun things like that just goes so far. And he's really in the mood to do all those things. That's what he's saying, that he said that video showed the energy that he is going to bring to the track and to this first season with Ferrari. And you've seen it so far. Like everything he does, he's doing with a spring in his step. He's so happy, so excited. He says he can't wait to be out on track tomorrow for Friday practice. And certainly I think everyone is saying the same. Certainly fans will be loving seeing Hamilton in a Ferrari during a Grand Prix weekend. And Lando Norris was saying actually that he thinks Ferrari are going to surprise people with their pace. He says that people have been short-sighted saying that McLaren are the clear favourites and the team to beat just based on one race simulation that Norris did at pre-season testing in Bahrain. And then actually looking at the Ferrari pace, Lando seems to claim that he knows the fuel that was in the Ferrari and that based on that he said Ferrari will be very quick. Now, this is a track that has suited Ferrari in the past, so we'll see how they go this weekend. But if it was on previous form, you'd expect them to be pretty strong. Carlos Sainz led home a 1-2 here last year when Max Verstappen retired. But that was also a race that McLaren were very competitive, and Lando was on the podium as well, despite being at a stage where their car wasn't very strong. They hadn't upgraded it yet with the Miami upgrade that put them right in the mix. So I'd still expect McLaren to be the favourites heading into this weekend. Lando's trying to shake that tag off. He says it's going to be the top 4 teams. Max Verstappen has been downplaying that too. He's saying that Red Bull have work to do and he doesn't think they're really in the mix for the victory. But I did speak to a few members of his team that said there was a good day in the simulator preparing for this race weekend that went really well, and it just kind of buoyed Max a little bit. Now, whether it'll be enough to put him in the fight for victory, we'll have to wait and see, but it was definitely a step forward compared to where they ended testing, where there were some question marks at Red Bull. The other one that was interesting is Mercedes. Now, Mercedes did a cool launch event to kick off the season down on St Kilda Beach before Media Day started, and there's such a chilled atmosphere within the team. It's a great setting for that, to be honest, getting coffee and breakfast down on a beach here in Australia. But they've done that in the past, and it's not always had the exact same atmosphere, but it's a new atmosphere because Lewis has left. They never would have chosen that, but having Kimi Antonelli come in, young, enthusiastic, really excited for his rookie season, alongside George Russell, who's still young and still is enthusiastic himself, but looking forward to a new team leader role. It is a proper fresh start. There's a different atmosphere within the team, and they're embracing that, this kind of new look. They've got new sponsors, they've got new team kit from Adidas that, again, literally gives them a new look too. So they're fully in on that. And they said people are letting us go under the radar a little bit. You know, the car did look good in testing. They're very happy with the steps forward they made. It looked stronger in all sorts of conditions, although it was fairly cold in testing for Bahrain. There were some warm spells where they still looked good. But everyone's been talking about Lewis to Ferrari, or Max Verstappen's title defence and the struggles that Red Bull are having, or how good McLaren look. And Mercedes think, actually, we're not really getting looked at too much, but that's fine by us. So it's been pretty interesting to hear that confidence growing at Mercedes. And if that's valid, then maybe Lando's right. Maybe it is a top 4 teams that we're going to have once again. And we're going to get the first answers for that in practice tomorrow. So I'll bring you the full roundup then.